Hey folks, it's the Mist and Flyers here, hope you're well, and welcome back to beautiful southern Spain, where sadly we're coming to the end of our winter sojourn. So in this video what we thought we would do is take a little look back at our trip, some of the things that we've learned about it, some of the things that turned out differently to what we thought, some of the things that worked better than we thought, the sort of lessons learned, sort of hints and tips if you like for getting away in winter, and just consider whether we would do this sort of thing again. So if you're interested in coming away to Andalusia for winter, stick around and stay tuned, this video's for you. Okay folks, so welcome back to the channel, and as well as going through the pros and cons of coming to Spain for winter, we're also doing this interspersed with a little ride to a place called Mijas, Pueblo. Now we came to Mijas a few weeks back, which was the beach basically, but a few miles inland is the village of Mijas, which is a little village full of white buildings. We've told us very beautiful, lots of little streets, that sort of thing. Ideal place to stop for a coffee. So we're going to punctuate the pros and cons with this little trip up to Mijas, Pueblo. Now, if I was the owner of that Jeep, that cover on that back tyre would really drive me nuts. The fact that it's got it at that jaunty angle. It could only be worse if it was actually upside down, couldn't it? Hello sir. Get your Jeep cover straight, man. You'd never see Freddie Dobbs with that situation going on, I'm sure. That would drive him nuts. That's how I knew it wasn't Freddie Dobbs. Okay, so before we get to Mijas, Pueblo, let's just run you through some of the things that we've really liked about the trip, shall we? Yeah. So the pros, if you like. I'll start off, and it's the obvious one. It's the weather. It's just been absolutely cracking. It's still January when we're recording this bit, and at home it's miserable, dark. Everybody's sending messages saying how lucky we are to be here, enjoying the sunshine. And okay, it hasn't been sunny every day. In fact, as we're recording this, it's a bit overcast. And as you've seen on today's ride, a little bit overcast. But it has been 15, 16 degrees centigrade. I ain't complaining. It's been absolutely lovely to ride at all in January. Fantastic, and was the main reason for coming. Would you concur with that? Yeah,
I feel really fortunate to have been out on the bike at this time of year, for me as a new rider particularly. Just for me, the roads, the tarmac quality is so much better than home, particularly up in the mountains. As I say, to go out on roads, to experience different roads, I've done more bends than I thought I was going to do. I've done rides that I didn't think I would get to be able to do because of, you know, I'd be a bit reticent, but I've gone out and done them, so I'm really pleased with that.
So your pro is roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, okay. And I agree, obviously, the roads are fantastic. What I like about them is they're just nice and, you know, big open bends. You can see what's coming. Like you say, the surfaces are good, aren't they? You can get a click on if you want, but they're just, the roads are great. And also people are biker friendly here, aren't they? They look out for you.
There's lots of places to park your bikes because obviously they're very scooter friendly here. So any little town will have moto bays with all the scooters and the bikes parked up. So they're very friendly towards us.
And sorry to be looking down here, okay, so I've made some notes on the phone, that's what I'm looking at. So the next thing I put here that I've really enjoyed, and which was a bonus, something I hadn't really thought about, and I guess it's related to weather, is the light at the end of the day. Yeah. It doesn't get dark here at the moment until 6:45 now. When we got here it was about 6:30. But whereas at home it's about 5 o'clock still. So you do get significantly more light at the end of the day. It just means you get more done, doesn't it? It's just fantastic.
Well, it just means you can go out and have a long afternoon out, and you don't have to worry about getting back because it's going to be darker.
In fact, we're recording this bit at 5:30. At home, it'll be pitch black now. So, I mean, that's just fantastic, isn't it?
The light has been beautiful. It's that lovely soft light you get in the autumn as well.
Yeah, it's that sort of autumnal or spring light. Think of it like that, and that's what you got. Anyway, so the light was for me. Next one on the list, Carol, whichever you like.
We've really enjoyed this apartment. We think we've lucked out with this. It's been, you know, everyone said on the comments how big it is for two of us, and we didn't know how big it would be. But there's plenty of space, plenty of storage space to throw all our kit. Its position is quite good. It's quite quiet.
It's been fantastic.
It's been really handy.
Lots of people asked about the cost of an apartment like this in this area, and of course it depends where you are, when you go and all that sort of thing, but it's around about the £2,000 mark. And also lots of people ask what this specific one is. Well, forget it, because we've already booked it for next year. Alrighty, so next up, it's my turn. I'm going for the trailer. The trailer has been an absolute success. I mean, I primarily bought it with this trip in mind, as you've probably worked out, and I have to say, I was going to say it's been hitch free, but it has in fact got a hitch, of course. It was easy to tow, it tracked along behind the car easily, didn't really notice it was there. Okay, I had that little bit of an issue with my tying down, but lots of you have given me advice on that. I've got a better solution going back. So yeah, the trailer has been an absolute hit. So that's a definite pro. Getting yourself a trailer so that you can actually bring your bikes down rather than having to do that long ride down and then having to carry all your stuff. I mean, we brought all sorts of stuff with us, and we could have brought loads more. We had plenty more space. So that was a definite pro. What about you? Anything else on the list?
Yes. Little traffic on the roads. We chose to go up into the mountains during the week when it was really quiet, as it's not tourist season as well, because obviously lots of local bikers and clubs go out at weekends and they do zoom past you on the roads, as I'm sure many of you know, and as I found out. So for me it was actually quite good to go up in the week, so that was good.
Yeah, little traffic's good.
And although the main road, the main dual carriageway here is really busy, it's generally the roads are just quieter than home, which was really handy. Definitely. Yes.
What I've liked about doing this trip in the manner that we have, we've been here for a long time, over a month, and we've just had time to relax between doing the bikey stuff. I did come here obviously to continue working, making these videos as we've done, but there has been enough time between doing that to actually chill out a bit and have a nice time. So yeah, if you are fortunate enough to be able to come down here for a period of time, obviously it gives you time to relax as well. It's not like you come here for a week's holiday and you feel you have to pack everything in. So that's been a real pro, isn't it?
Yeah, there's lots to do. I mean, we do realise how fortunate we are to have come for that period of time. And we understand that not everybody can do it, or some people are looking to do it in the future, the comments have said, or would we do it again? But there's lots to do off the bikes, isn't there? There's lots. If you're into walking, there's loads and loads of walking. There's lots of restaurants open. One of the, I'm going to skip, he's going to get cross with me, one of the cons, one of the downsides is some restaurants are not open because January is their holidays, because they've been really busy throughout the season and including Christmas. So, if you're going out up into the mountains, have a good breakfast. Because quite a few of them in January are shut until early to mid-February, depending.
All right, that's it for our pros and one con. We'll carry on to our little trip to Mijas, Pueblo, and speak to you in a moment. Okay, folks, we've climbed up the side of the mountain and we've made it to Mijas, Pueblo. We're just going to find our way in now and find ourselves a little stop for a much-deserved cup of coffee. Well, this looks nice, doesn't it, folks? Not one to do on the Goldwing when it's wet. Cobble's my nemesis. Crikey, loads of people up here at the cafe. What's going on? Well, once again, we got quite lucky and found a bit of free parking for the bikes. Mrs. Fly's just sorting out a bits and bobs here. And once again, I've used my novel helmet locking mode, so I don't have to carry my helmet to the coffee shop. And Mrs. Fly's actually putting her stuff in my bag. So many people said that I was using her top box to carry my stuff. Well, here's the proof. It's not the case. I'm actually carrying her stuff.
Are you whinging?
No, just stating a fact. Alright, I know it's a touristy place, but ultimately we are tourists. It is rather nice. Alright, let's just interject here again then for the rest of the cons, the things that we've learned on this trip that we didn't particularly like, maybe that surprised us a little bit, and there aren't very many of them, and Carol's already blown it with one of them, so there's only two left, so I'll go with the first one before we get on to the major one.
It's not really a con that much.
Well, I think it is. Anyway, my con is that even though we said the weather was great, and it has been, it's a little bit cooler in the mornings and the evenings than you'd expect. You can see we're sat here now with the jumper and a sweatshirt. It is, as I say, it's January, so it's no big deal, and it's still probably in here. It's probably 18, 19 degrees. It's not cold. So it's a bit of a minor whinge, but it's not. Don't come here in January thinking you're going to be laying on a beach until 6 p.m. because on some days that may happen. Yesterday, for example,
yesterday it was really warm yesterday afternoon.
We
were out walking in shorts, and you needed a hat on your head. And today it's 5 degrees, 6 degrees cooler, quite breezy. But first, and you need a jumper and a light jacket.
First thing in the morning when you get up can be a bit parky. So that was me. You've got a more substantial thing though that we didn't like so much.
Yeah, the ferry crossing. Now, it was a necessary evil. We'd never done that ferry crossing before, Portsmouth to Santander. Many people in the comments have said, why don't you do Plymouth to Santander? It's a short crossing, and it is, but it doesn't operate in the winter because I've checked with Brittany Ferries. The other thing is lots of people that we know have done the crossing said buy the Commodore Lounge ticket, which is an extra 35
quid or something,
pounds something each. For each crossing.
Which we're doing on the way back.
Yeah, we got it on the way back. We couldn't get it on the way out because of when we booked it, they only have so many tickets, and basically you've got
sold out.
Free access to drinks and snacks, and So if you are going to come here, really think about booking in advance if you want that ticket with the access to the lounge.
Yeah, I think they go very quickly.
They go very quickly.
Because I personally wouldn't want to do that crossing again without that. Because it's pretty tedious on that boat. You're sat on there for 36 hours.
I felt a bit stir crazy.
Oh, it's
really.
grim.
There's only so many times you can walk around the deck.
And you can only have so many drinks, and the food was horrible. There was nothing really about it. Well, you slept okay.
I slept okay, and we did see people take on their own, when we got on to cross, the next day I saw people with their own lunch that obviously bought
their own food, which is a good idea. Take your own food is a definite.
With their salads and bits and pieces, And
I would also add, we were very lucky because it was a pretty calm crossing.
It was calm as a mill pond.
Given we were doing it in the middle of winter, get across the Bay of Biscay, it could have been absolutely horrendous. So if you're not a good sailor, and I ain't, that could have been horrible.
And we've still got to go back yet.
Yeah, which I'm not looking forward to.
The only other thing to say was the timetable for the ferries for the whole year comes out in July, coming for the following winter. So I think lots of people book onto the ferry and come over in their big motorhomes and come over here for 3 months, 2 months, whatever. So if you want to do that, don't leave it to the last minute to book your crossing if you want the Commodore ticket and an outside cabin.
Right, done?
Yes.
Right, that's it. Not many cons. That was it. Right, back to our trip. Okay, thank you, Mijas, Pueblo. Fantastic spot, as hopefully you saw. It is very touristy, but it's very nice. That's what tourists like, don't they? Anyway, we had a nice slice of cake and cup of coffee in there. Didn't film in the cafe because it was a bit busy. And we sat inside because it's a little bit relatively cooler today, as you can see. But it's still 16 degrees out here, so I'm not complaining. All right, just another interruption to the trip, just to tell you about the things that we would do differently if and when we do this again. So we'll start with you, Mrs. Fly. What would you do differently?
We would consider using the channel tunnel and driving. I know it's going to take longer, and we're going to be stuck in the car, but it's more under our own steam, and we're not in a floating tin can.
Yeah, I'd rather be for hours on end. If you're going to do a 36-hour journey or whatever, I'd rather do it in my car than on that boat and risk a terrible crossing. I mean, if you do it by the tunnel, you ain't going to get caught out by the weather, are you? And also, the other thing to consider is if you go by the boat, then of course you've got a cabin, so it's a hotel effectively catered for, isn't it? But if you're going to drive and go through France and down by the Pyrenees, it's going to be at least a couple of days and 2 hotel nights, I would say, unless you're some sort of nut job.
Well, when we were thinking
I was thinking of Rich or Bruce there when I said nut job, because they'd do it when I wouldn't. Anyway.
When we were thinking of doing this, we priced up, roughly the time and the cost of doing both. And actually,
they're very close.
They're very close. So I think it was about whether you wanted to drive that way and whether you don't mind whether the crossing is rough or not. Yeah,
or minimise the driving. Because also you've got to consider food when if you're travelling down the car, and also tolls in France quite significant, and fuel, of course.
And the cost of fuel.
So it does all add up. And in fact, it's quite expensive. Either way, it's quite expensive. You're talking, over £1,000 probably for that, aren't you? Especially if you're bringing a trailer on the ferry and the tunnel, that costs more as well. So you have to factor all that in. So that's something we might consider differently next time.
We might do.
The other thing that we were thinking we might do differently is potentially bring the GS. as well as Mrs. Fly's bike. If we can get them both in the trailer, I think we possibly can. We can top and tail them or whatever. And that way it gives us the option for Carol to go on the back of the GS. So we were thinking next time we might do a few days in Morocco, for example. So that's another option, isn't it? And there was one other thing. Do you want to mention it?
I can't remember what
skiing.
it is. Oh yeah. We might bring our, we would probably bring our skiing kit. We were going to originally, and then we just thought, oh no, we can't be bothered to take anything else. But yeah, we should have done it, would have been easy. So we'd probably bring our ski kit and go up to the Sierra Nevada for 2 days. And
it's literally, we're told it's about a 2-hour drive to the ski area, which is up near Granada way. We're big ski fans. It's in the middle of the skiing season. We're sending WhatsApp messages to our friends who are on the slopes at the moment, feeling a little bit of FOMO, although it's outrageous that we were here enjoying ourselves.
I've got a real problem. How am I going to fit my skis in my top box?
Anyway, I'm sure we'll sort that out. Anyway, so there we have it. That's the sort of pros and cons that we found anyway, the lessons we've learnt on coming to Spain for the depths of winter. We've only come for a month, but we've absolutely had a fantastic time. And the big question, of course, is would we do it again? And the answer is very much a yes. In fact, we've already booked for next year, so we'll be coming back and bringing you more videos, no doubt, from Spain next year. Alright folks, that's it for this time then. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Misters and Flyers. Cheerio.